This is a TJ Rubicon with full hard doors and a soft top, running 16-inch tires, and I'm going to be mounting my Jeep rack to it. First step in removing your bumper is to remove your plastic end caps. This rack is designed to work on the stock bumpers, so you have to remove your stock bumper. If you remove your end caps first, you can get to the bolts that are holding your bumper on. There's 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. Once you remove your bumper bolts, you have 2 on the top and the 1 on the bottom, your bumper will remove. If you're running the extra tow hook, you're going to have to loosen the back bolt so that the tow hook will slip out of the way so that your bumper will move. Once you get your bumper off, you can start mounting your brackets. Mounting the brackets on there, it's a straightforward procedure. The 2 outer bolts are going to be the same bolts that are there for your bumper. You're going to be using the stock ones there. For extra support on the TJs, you must mount the inner bolt. To mount that bolt, a tab is welded to the nut so that you can hold it in place directly where it needs to be, so that you can screw the nut in through the bracket. In place just like that, through the outermost hole. And that way you have 3 points of contact with the frame on either side. Once you get the inner bolt mounted, you can take the little tab that's in place there and just bend it up out of the way. That way you leave it in place. If you ever have to move your bracket, you can just pull it down into place to hold the back, and you're not having to try to get a wrench up in there. To mount the bumper back onto it, you have to do one side first and then slip it on the other. The tolerances are very close, so once you slip the bumper on the one side, on the other side you have to mount the bracket to the bumper and then lift it into place. The reasons the tolerances are so close is so that way the brackets don't stick out too far. This is to keep your doors and the rest of your rack not sticking out far from the Jeep. For safety reasons and for aerodynamics, you don't get any wind noise. Once you do this, you're going to use the same tabs and mount the inner bolt the exact same way. Tip when you're remounting your bumper: put the lower bumper bolt on first before you do the top ones, so you don't have any alignment problems, because this sets it out slightly. You have to do your bottom one first. Swing your hook back in place if you have it. Put that bolt in first and you have no problems at all getting any of the bolts in. Once you have your bumper back on and your brackets are mounted and they're flat, you got your hook back on, you just take your end caps, they go back on, same holes go in place, and you're done.
Okay.
Once you get your brackets mounted, it's time to put your rack into your brackets. They just slip into place into the holes. It has one keeper bolt on the bottom that keeps it in place. When you hang these, make sure you put your hinge receivers on the inside, so that way you can hang your doors on them. Each side gets a strike plate. The strike plate for the TJ has a loop on it. If you have a YJ or a CJ, or the new JKs, you're going to have a post on it. That's the only difference in the brackets for the different models of Jeeps. Once you put the uprights in, you have a crossbar that goes across for stability. This fits in the holes on either side, and that makes it so that the whole rack is stable once you mount your doors. There are keeper nuts that keep that in place. When you're taking your rack out, the brackets stay in place, the 2 uprights and the crossbar go behind your seat when you're not using it, so that you can run your doors and not have the rack sticking out on the back of your Jeep. Alright, first you need to remove your doors. The driver door goes first. You should have your mirrors mounted so you can have them in place even without your doors on. There are several aftermarket products that do that. You need to have that to keep Johnny Law away from you. Once you remove your doors, you're also going to have your dome light staying on. They make an aftermarket clip that clips on the dome light to keep that from happening, or you just pull your number 4 fuse, which is quicker and easier. Once you get those doors mounted on here, this is a 16-inch tire that's on there. The doors do not touch the tire, and the strike plates hold them in place, and the doors do not touch each other as well. You roll down the windows and your hard doors so that way you don't get any noise out of them. And you'll notice there's clear light all the way through, so the doors don't touch each other, so they don't get rubbed up and they don't stick out far at all. Looking from the side, they don't stick out more than a standard 4x4 bike rack. And from the back, they don't interfere with the tail lights, the license plate, or even the third brake light, which is visible underneath the bar. And that's how you mount your doors on your rack and take them with you If the weather gets bad, you just take them off and put them right back on the Jeep.